Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Butt Fumble Sports Show. It is so wonderful to have you guys with us on this very special day. It is Tuesday of NFL kickoff week. I hope you are as excited as I am. We have a great show ahead. We're talking fantasy football. I know some of you still have drafts to go. I do as well. Of course, we now get to be able to talk about who should start and who should sit week one of the NFL season. So if you're a fantasy football owner looking for some start or sit help, you've also come to the right place. We have MLB picks to give out because we've done our research on today's MLB action. This is as loaded a show as you can get here at Butt Fumble Sports, and we are so excited about it. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time we're live, because from here on out, Butt Fumble Sports is live every single day of the 2024 year and of the 2024 fantasy football season. Jordan gets us started off with his first question. Did my 12-person draft got Jacobs and Swift as my top two running backs? I think you got two RB2s. Not a terrible look, but there are some teams that will be better than yours. Shady Esco, Waddle, Metcalf, week one. Interesting question. Not a very good matchup for DK Metcalf going up against Patrick Surtain. Waddle's got the better matchup. Maybe I lean towards Waddle because of that slightly. I don't love sitting DK Metcalf, but he's got the tougher matchup, Shady Esco. Appreciate the question. Pollard or Thomas Jr. for week one? I'm going to go with the running back first. In a week one, we want a high floor. We want to eliminate risk since we know so little. We're just trying to figure things out in this first week of the season. Go with players who are going to have the higher floor, not players you think could have a high ceiling. Go with Pollard this week. Traded Pollard, Keenan Allen, and Kamara for Jefferson. Win or a loss? I think you probably got a slight win, maybe. I don't know. I'm not high on Jefferson. You didn't give up too much overall. I think Kamara is the only player I wish you had held on to, but other than that, I like what I'm seeing. Jose's asking if I like Chiefs -3. If you can, don't be on the 3. The 3 is the worst spot to take this. The sports books are setting up a push. If you're going to take it, I have Chiefs money line. I have Ravens +3.5. If you can push that 3.5 to +4.5, I would do it. I have the Chiefs winning. I have the Ravens losing by 3 points. So I want to be at +3.5 or +4.5 as a little bit of protection. But that's how I think the game's going to go. Lamar Jackson's going to cover. I think the Chiefs get the win, though. Blank, I traded Mike Evans for DK and Jaden Reed. Did I win? I think you got a huge upgrade. I think you did win. 2 good wide receivers over 1. It's a good move. What do you think about McCaffrey injury? McCaffrey supposedly is back, ready to go for Monday night against the Jets. Certainly helps him that the game's on Monday night, just a little bit of extra rest. And of course, the big news out of San Francisco, Trent Williams is back. Not necessarily signed yet, but we're expecting that news at any moment. Brian, would you trade Derrick Henry for Nico Collins? I wouldn't. The running back value is greater to me than a wide receiver who's going to be battling for targets. Daily Sports 31, I had 7th round pick and I took Jonathan Taylor in 4th round picks. Purdy, Barkley, Taylor, Collins, Pickens, Kelsey, Pickens. You said Pickens. Okay. Daily Sports, you need to learn how to write a comment. Other than that, it looks like a solid team overall. Appreciate the question. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure you throw your questions and comments in the chat. And if you are watching on TikTok, you can come on as a guest. Be quick with the question, but we will be giving out advice to even those who want to call into the show. We have our picks live as well up on the big board and on SHARPZ. So if you want to see our picks, our MLB picks for the day, some of the picks we love. Orioles on the money line, Orioles -1.5. Check out the Braves on the money line, obviously with Chris Sale on the mound. Phillies, Blue Jays. I like the over. I also like the Phillies. Phillies are an underdog today. We like that. Look out for a Rangers cover. Rangers +1.5. Carlos Rodon on the road this year has been absolutely terrible. You might want to fade the Yankees a little bit tonight. Marlins and Nationals, tricky one. Patrick Corbin, awful on the road. That said, I like the Nationals at +1.5, but be aware of it. So a couple of picks that are out there. Let's get back to some fantasy football questions. Danny, hi mate, how you doing? Would you trade Rachaad White away, and if so, for who? I've got Connor and Henry. I would trade away James Conner if you could. James Conner's the one that I would want to move on from. CN22 over on YouTube. Dynasty trade. Mike Evans, Shakir, and Ty Chandler, plus a mid-first for Pacheco and Godwin. Did I win? If you got Pacheco and you got Godwin, I think you won the trade. 2 known assets opposed to 3 unknown plus Mike Evans. Kike is Guap. Thoughts on Chase this week? If you're a Jamar Chase owner, be sweating it. I don't think he's going to play. Even if he suits up, I don't think he's necessarily going to have a big impact. So I'm fading Jamar Chase week 1. So if you have Jamar Chase, make sure you got other options in the lineup, because even if he's in a jersey for the Bengals, I don't expect him to play a full game. Tweety Bird. Pick 2. Ladd, Chuba, Spears. I'd go Ladd McConkey and I'd go Chuba Hubbard. Adrian got ways. Choose 2 to start. I would go Amari Cooper and Drake London. Drake London does not have a good matchup, but I think I prefer it to Ayuk. Ayuk's got to go up against Sauce Gardner. I don't want any part of that. Frankly, Adrian Gotway's 3 wide receivers with a really tough week 1 matchup, so don't expect a lot from that wide receiver group overall. Trevor Beans, Keeper League, I kept Kyron. I have first pick. Should I go McCaffrey, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Breece Hall? Breece Hall. If you come away from the first 2 picks of your draft with Kyron Williams and Breece Hall, Trevor Beans, you will have won this draft. Dallas Ogburn, Flex, Tank Dell, or Cooper Kupp? I would go with Cooper Kupp. John Tosh, how many points are Mahomes, Rice, and Henry going to combine for on Thursday night? Great question. Obviously, it depends if you're in a PPR league. I think Mahomes is going to have a really good day. I just looked at his stats historically against the Ravens. He's put up good numbers. I think Mahomes goes for over 275 passing yards. I think he has 2 touchdowns through the air. I think Pacheco adds a rushing touchdown. I think Derrick Henry will most likely find the end zone. Most likely, though I'm not going to bet on it. Thanks, Tweety Bird. And I like Travis Kelce to be one of those touchdowns. I could see Rashee Rice being the other. Larkus over on YouTube. Should I trade Devontae Adams and Terry McLaurin for A.J. Brown? The answer is no. And part of the reason is because Terry McLaurin has more value this year with Jaden Daniels. I think you're giving up too much for just one wide receiver. Brent, rate the 12-man PPR. Hurts, Gibbs, Etienne, Lamb, Olave, Ingram, Diggs, Kirk, and Aaron Jones. This is a really solid team. One of the things I actually love about your team, Brent, is all your running backs, including Aaron Jones, they're utilized in the passing game as much as they are in the running game, so they're going to get a lot of points in different ways. Love this team. This is an A- squad. Helios, rate my 10-man, please. Jaden Daniels, Gibbs, Bijan, Jefferson, Ayuk, McBride, and Devontae Smith. Thumbs up. It's an A- as well. Gibbs and Bijan, I love the combo. By the way, Jahmyr Gibbs has come out and says he's 100% ready to go for week 1. No concerns there. Big on that. I love the team overall. I think Helios A-A. Ogburn, Amari Cooper, or Tank Dell? It's a great question. I don't know what Tank Dell's going to be. Amari Cooper has a really tough cornerback matchup. So when it comes to the matchup, I prefer Tank Dell. When it comes to the targets, I think Amari Cooper is going to get more fantasy points. So Dallas, I'll go Amari Cooper because I just don't know how the Houston offense is going to operate. The ball has to be spread out to Diggs, Collins, Dell, Schultz, Mixon, a lot of mouths to feed. Amari Cooper is going to be a staple in that Cleveland offense. Six Geese, great to have you resubscribe. Great to have you with us. Appreciate it. Anyone older than me to talk to? User 99. How old are you? Kobe Kessler. Rate my 10-man team. Mahomes, Kupp, Diggs, McCaffrey, Kamara, Pitts, and McLaurin. That's an A- team. Phenomenal team. Obviously, you're banking on everyone staying healthy, McCaffrey, but I think this is an incredible squad. For a 10-man team, it's an absolute home run. Nat, what's up, brother? Had me draft last night. Awesome. Second pick. 10-man. Let's hear about it. Helios, pick 2 for this week. McLaurin, Ayuk, Devontae Smith. I'm very high on McLaurin this week. I think Devontae Smith has a really good week as well. So those would be the 2. Don't like Ayuk's matchup. Kike Esquat. Bengals, a good defense to start this week over the Jets. Look, the Jets are going to be a good defense this week, so don't feel like you have to start someone else just because they're playing the 49ers. But the Bengals are going up against arguably the worst offensive line in the NFL in the New England Patriots. If you drafted the Bengals, you better start them this week. If you have the Bengals defense, if you're not starting them this week, why do you have them at all? Jorge Karras got offered A.J. Brown for DK and Watson. Should I accept? No, okay? I don't think I do that. I don't think you're getting enough value back. Dre Sid, what's the best pick to have in an 8-man league? It's pick number 1, number 2, and that's because you don't have to wait too long for that second round pick, so you're getting the most value in the first round, and you're still in a good spot in the second. Dallas, if Jamar Chase doesn't play, should I play Malik Neighbors? Yes, I would. Who should I go second round, Trevor Beans, if I take Breece and have Kyren? Who should you go in the second round? Get yourself a wide receiver. Hard to know who's going to be available in your league just based on, because it's a keeper league, but that's a perfect time to take Marvin Harrison Jr. because he would be a third round pick in a non-keeper league, second round pick in a keeper league. Hugh, choose 2, Evans, Pickens, Waddle, and Rice. Okay, I'm going to go Waddle and Rice. I'm going to go Waddle and Rice on that one. I want to say Mike Evans, but I actually think Waddle's going to be a better play this week. Pacheco or Kyren. I got to start Kyren Williams. I got to start him. It's draft Pacheco or Kyren. Kyren would be first. Pacheco would be second in terms of order. El Pinche, rate my 10-man. Stroud, Bijan, Cook, Adams, DJ, Tank, Ferguson, Falcons. Really solid team. Love the bench you built. Caleb Williams, Jaden Reed, Terry McLaurin, really strong bench. Chase Brown, great pick. Overall, really solid squad. I'm looking for flaws, maybe a little overloaded on the Falcons. Maybe. I don't love their defense. It's okay. We'll see if it's improved with all those free agent moves. But I'll give the team a B+, A- for now. Good team. 2-8 and start London, Cooper, Rashee Rice, or Johnson. Start 3 out of the group. I would start... I think Deontay Johnson would be the one I'd sit just because I don't trust the Panthers offense as of right now. Steve TX, flex 1, Cooper, Ford, or Amari Coop. I think you said Amari Cooper, right? Unless it's a different... I'd probably go with Amari Cooper over Ford, but it's very close. Larkus, start 3 this week. Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Kupp, McLaurin, Evans. If Jefferson's a full healthy go, Jefferson's absolutely a start. If you're not starting him against the Giants, why own him? So Jefferson, I'd go Kupp. I think the Rams offense is going to have a very big day. Expect the over to hit in that Rams and Lions game. And I'd probably lean towards... It's close. I'll probably lean towards Devontae Adams in the 3rd spot. Again, if you're not using him this week, why have him at all? I would trade one of those receivers. Larkus, you have one too many receivers. You could go get value at another position. Dallas, RB2, it's Josh Jacobs. It's got to be Josh Jacobs, even though I don't like either matchup. Dom, start Higgins or Cooper. Let's see if Jamar Chase is playing. Higgins could actually have a tough matchup on his hands. Keep in mind, Christian Gonzalez of the New England Patriots, he is a cornerback 1. He is a lockdown corner when he did play last year, so be a little bit cautious on him. Yo, it's Timmy. People said I'm dumb for drafting Gibbs, Pacheco, and Etienne. I think you did really well. I really like the team that you have, so whoever said that, don't take their word for anything. Allison White, Debo, Kupp, McLaurin, Odunze, or Watson, start 2. 100% I'm starting Kupp and McLaurin out of that group for me. By the way, can we not pin tweets? Let's not pin any tweets. It's going to throw me off. Let's go Sawyer, Clark, start 3. Kupp, Rice, Ayuk, or Moore. Ooh, tricky. I'm going to go Kupp, Rice, Moore. I probably should say that in the way that sounds cooler. I'll go Moore, Rice in the Kupp. Oh, we got to pause and redo. Pause, resume. Okay, so yeah, I would go Kupp, Rice, and Moore. Michael, start 3. Hall, Saquon, Kamara, Walker the third. I would start Kamara. I would start Saquon. I would start Breece Hall. It'd be Kenneth Walker the third. I think that's the odd man out, at least for this week. Don't love that decision, though. Fotana. Let's not pin tweets, guys. I'm not going to answer pin tweets. I don't want pin tweets. We're not doing it. We're not pinning them. Thank you. Okay, Nick. Thoughts on Lamar, Breece, Pacheco, Olave, Devontae, Moore, Bowers with Zamir, Monty, and Ford on the bench. Actually really love this team. Love that you got depth at the running back position. You did well enough at the wide receiver given that you have Breece Hall and Pacheco. Nick, A- squad. Love the team. Boss Hugo, Jay Williams, Broncos running back, or Deontay Johnson for the Panthers. I'm going to lean slightly towards Williams this week. I prefer running back over the wide receiver. Antonio, Waddle or Mostert? I'm going to go Waddle. Not knowing how many touches Mostert's ultimately going to get. Nat, John, Wick, Hertz, Cook, Taylor, Lamb, Neighbors, Kincaid, Stevenson, Pitts, Boswell. Really solid team. Love that you took my advice on rookie wide receivers. Love that. Really solid. Cesar Torres, are you doing a fantasy draft today? No, sir. I'm just goated. Great to see you back. Rate this 12-man when you're picking from the 6th spot. Mahomes, St. Brown, Neighbors, Etienne, Jones, and Ferguson. I don't like it enough. You didn't do well enough at the running back position for me. I think it's a solid B squad. Zay, Ridley, DK, Dell, or Stevenson for the flex? Great question. For the moment, I'm going to lean just slightly, I think, towards Stevenson, believe it or not. I don't love DK's matchup. I don't love Ridley's matchup either. I think Tank Dell gets lost. Stevenson's going to be the primary force in that offense. I'm not saying he produces a ton of points, but he actually might be the best to own this week out of that group. We'll have to reconsider it as we get closer to game day, though. Mike, thoughts on a 10-man PPR? Love, Kyler, Pacheco, Jacobs, Amon-Ra, Debo, Kincaid, Smith, McLaurin. Great squad. Love the quarterbacks you got. You should have a good matchup there every single week. Running backs, really solid guys that are going to get the ball frequently in the game, not just in the red zone, but between the 20s. Amon-Ra St. Brown could not be a better pick at wide receiver. Debo being your number 2 wide receiver is a great own. I'm huge on Kincaid. Smith and McLaurin are steals. You probably are lacking a depth at the running back position, just a guess, but overall, great team. Josh Waldrip, should I flex Ford against Dallas or David Montgomery against the Rams? I'm going to lean just slightly, actually, towards Montgomery. I think I trust him a little bit more to get into the end zone. It's close, though. Brock Ford, start Rice or Ramondre? Oh, it's start Rashee Rice. Nat, what grade would I give the team overall? I think I'd give it, for that one, I'm going to give it a B+. I really like the running backs you have. I love that you got Cook to go along with those running backs. I think it's a really solid squad. Wide receivers a little weak outside of Lamb because I'm not as big on Neighbors as others are. But I really like it. I think it's a solid B+ team. Enrique, Kyler or Caleb for week 1? Go with Caleb. I am going to say go Caleb. I think both players perform well. But I trust Caleb's offensive weapons a little bit more than Kyler, I think, for week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. Ben Roger, thoughts on Higgins and Flowers this week? I think Flowers probably has the slightly better week, believe it or not, especially if Jamar Chase doesn't play. Fotana, start Ingram or Jake Ferguson? I would probably start Evan Ingram. Tsunami Zaddy, Johnson or Jacobs for the flex? Jacobs. Tsunami Zaddy, start Jacobs. Deadman K, think Curtis Samuel has a good game this weekend. Not good enough for me to play him unless you're in a very big league. If you're in like a 14, 16-man league. C. Stewart, flex London or Reed? Tricky one. I think I'd go Reed on this one. Don't like London's matchup against the Steelers. I think there are other weeks he'll be a great own, not necessarily this week. Specifically, Pacific 100, McCaffrey, Henry, Mahomes, Laporta, Jacobs. You are loaded at running back. I give you a ton of credit. I love this team. For a grade on the entire squad, it's an A- at least. You just have too many good running backs. You have good wide receivers. I don't know how you were able to get this team. It is loaded A-. Great job. Ricky, 10-man, Kyler, Kyron, White, Jamar Chase, Olave, DJ Moore, Ingram, Dell, Ford, and Watson. I really like the team overall. I'd give it a B+, but this has A- potential if Rachaad White has another great year. If you guys have a fantasy football question, and I know we've got a lot of questions going, but if you want to ask multiple questions and you don't want to be battling the crowd, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe on TikTok. That way you can join us for our subscriber-only shows. We do a subscriber-only show almost every night. So if you have like 5, 6, 7 questions and you want them all answered, subscribe on TikTok. You can answer all of them. I'll answer all of them, rather, and that way you don't have to battle the crowd. I do the subscriber-only shows so you guys get the attention, because otherwise, hard to get all the questions answered. So you can battle the crowd in these shows for everybody at 4:30 Monday through Friday, or you can become a subscriber on TikTok and join us for our night show, usually around 9:30, 10 o'clock. Jorge, rate the team. Love, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Marvin Harrison Jr., Pittman, Ferguson, Rice, Seahawks defense, Montgomery, and McLaurin. Love the team overall. You're a little bit loaded on the Seahawks, interestingly enough. Surprised you went Seahawks defense, though. That could be a sleeper good play, actually. I give the team like a B+, maybe an A- if everything goes right. I actually love the team you picked. Sports Takes 2. By the way, thanks, Tommy. Appreciate you, buddy. Sports Takes 2. Stroud, McCaffrey, Etienne, Evans, Waddle, Diggs, Kittle, Ravens defense, rate the 10-man. This is a very solid squad. I have few issues with this. You're a little overloaded on the 49ers offense, but I can't hate on that, given it's the 49ers. I'll give this team a B+ at the lowest, but an A- is probably more befitting that team. Tommy, which two to start in week 1? Kyron Williams, and for the moment, I'm going to lean slightly, just slightly, I think, towards Achane. He's healthy. I think he's going to have the better game. It's close, but I'll go Achane and Kyron, though I don't feel great about it. It's a coin flip between K9 and Achane for me. Josh, rate the 10-man. Purdy, Breece Hall, Henry, Evans, Rashee Rice, Kelsey, Jacobs. Man, to get Jacobs as your third running back, this is a really solid team. I think it's a B+. I don't love the bench probably as much as I would for other things, but I think it's a B+ team. Josh, Ridley or Reed? Tricky one. I'm going to go Reed, though. I don't like the matchup against the Bears defense. Bears defense is going to be good this year. Jorge, got Jets to go, but Seahawks play Broncos, better matchup. Jorge, I completely agree with you. Adrian, got Ways. Do you think I should try trading for Mixon or James Conner? I would try to trade for Mixon. I prefer Mixon over Conner. Alvaro Garcia, Dak or Jaden Daniels? Jaden Daniels is going to be the better play. Jason760, thanks for subscribing. Who do I start, Tua or Love? I would start Tua, actually. I think Jordan Love could have a good game, not a great game against the Eagles. I think Tua is going to have a great game against Jacksonville. Johnny Kreider, Allen, Etienne, Connor, Hill, London, Laporta, Rice, Saints defense, and McPherson. Interesting that you went Saints defense, maybe because the division they're in, but I don't know if I love that defense overall. I think it's a good team. It's a B+ squad for me. Michael, draft tonight, Burrow, Prescott, or Love? Frankly, it's Jordan Love for me. I think Jordan Love's actually the best owned out of that group. Communal Snacks, start 3. Debo, Flowers, Rice, JSN, Godwin, or Shakir? Really great question. I'm going to go Rice, I'm going to go Flowers, and I'm going to shock you. I'm going to go Shakir. I think Shakir is worth the risk this week, because the difference between Shakir and Godwin this week probably isn't big enough, and Debo's got a tough matchup against the Jets. I'll take Flowers, Rice, and Shakir. Jorge, start 2. Breece Hall, Walker. If you guys have Breece Hall, start Breece Hall. I don't care who he's playing, start him. So, Jorge, I would start Breece Hall, and then out of the remaining group, I'd probably go Kenneth Walker. Trevor Beans, appreciate it. By the way, you don't have to call me Mr. Fumble. You can just call me Butt. Butt's my first name. Joe. By the way, did you guys hear about that Florida State fan? The Florida State fan, Noel321. Thanks, D. Turner. Yeah, thanks, D. Turner, 96. Did you hear about that Florida State fan who said before the game on social media that if Boston College beat Florida State, he was going to eat dog poop out of a red Solo cup, and he has since deleted all of his social media. He has gone MIA in life right now, and people have actually tracked him down. The folks at Barstool tracked him down, and he is being challenged. Eat that dog poop. No 3-2-1. You're not going to get by putting that shit out there. Pun intended. All right. Anyways, Jennifer, Alvin Kamara or James Conner for an RB2. This week, I'll go Alvin Kamara. Joe, 12-man, Richardson, Taylor, Cook, Garrett Wilson, London, Debo, Ferguson. Really solid squad. Love the wide receivers given your running back situation. It's a B+, A- team. It's a B+, and here's the only issue. You're overloaded on the Colts offense. I not hate it, but it's just enough for it to be a B+ for me. Jorge, Jaden Daniels or Jordan Love? It's very close. I think this is a coin flip. I might go Jaden Daniels because I think he'll get the rushing yards, but it's close. Ricky, McLaurin, Flowers, or Neighbors? I'm going to lean just slightly, I think, towards Zay Flowers over McLaurin, but I don't know if I feel good about that. You know what? I take it back. I'm going to go McLaurin. Ricky, I'm going to go McLaurin. Click, Ayuk or Ridley? I'm going to go Ridley, I think. Ayuk's got a tough matchup against the Jets and Sauce Gardner. I like Ridley's matchup just a little bit more, even though he's on the new team. Jose, Rice or Higgins? I'd go Rashee Rice. Mike Foreman on Instagram with the joke of the day. 2 losses, 1 cup. Mike Foreman, hilarious, dude. That is awesome. Specifically, Pacific 100. Hopkins and Brian Thomas, does it move the needle to an A? No, it doesn't. It doesn't move it to an A. Sorry, but you're not going to get an A from me for those 2 pieces. Adrian Gotways, Bengals, Saints, Steelers defense. This week, Bengals. If you can, start Cincinnati. Have you seen the Patriots' offensive line? Other than David Andrews and Onwenu, this offensive line has no business being an NFL offensive line, so I think the Bengals are going to feast. I would expect the Bengals to get at least 3 sacks. Jorge, start 3. Marv, Pittman, Rice, McLaurin, or Monty. Jorge, I would go Marvin Harrison Jr., Rashee Rice, and I'll go Terry McLaurin. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the follow button across all of our platforms. Hit the like button, hit the follow button. Make sure you're a part of this community, folks. Nick Slaw, Bijan, or Brees? Thanks, D. Turner. Good evening to you, D. Turner. Nick Slaw, Bijan, or Brees at the 3. If it's a PPR, you could talk me into Bijan, but really it's Brees Hall. Brees Hall for me. Mr. Lopez, pick 2. Cup, Debo, Kyron, week 1. Week 1, believe it or not, I'm going to double up on the Rams. I'll go Cup, I'll go Kyron. I think the Rams and the Lions are going to score some points on Sunday. I'm looking forward to a lot of offense in that game. Fotana, start 2. I'd go Rice and Smith. Oh, 12-man auction, Keeper, Burrow, McCaffrey, Hall, Lamb, Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Kirk, Hawkinson, and Freiermuth. Really good team. I like actually that you have a combo of tight ends, obviously with Hawkinson on the IR. Really good team, though. I'm going to, with Hall and McCaffrey, I got to give it an A- as its floor. Ricky, can you rate my other league? 10-man, Kyler, Adams, Moore, Hall, Williams. Oh, you crushed it. You know I was going to love this team with the running backs. That's an A- squad. A- squad. Trevor, Taysom Hill, Pat Freiermuth. Taysom Hill continues to be the Swiss Army knife that has value. Every time we think he is over the hill, he's lost his value, the team's changed, they're not going to use him the same way, we get it wrong. For the position, his value exceeds his cost. So what I would say is, you can find tight ends who fit the Freiermuth value almost every week. When Taysom Hill does hit, he hits big. I'd rather take the risk on him. Kansas City and Baltimore under 46.5. I think that's probably right. I think the Thursday night game does go under the total. I do like the Chiefs to win, and I do like the Ravens to cover. But I'm going to say that it's probably like a... I think it's going to be like a 20... I could see it being 24-20. No, I think there's a field goal there. So I'll say Chiefs 27, Ravens 24. That hits over the total, actually. So I say that, and maybe I'm wrong on that over-under. D. Turner, trade alert, Neighbors and Pollard. I get Marvin Harrison Jr. I like the trade because you didn't need Pollard. No, D. Turner, that's a good trade because you're just throwing him in. You're really upgrading from Neighbors to Marvin Harrison Jr. 2 thumbs up. Love it. 23-21 Ravens, in my opinion. All right, El Pinche. I like it. Seahawks or Bengals defense. This week, Bengals defense. Season-long Seahawks, Jorge, but this week, Bengals. Moody, Singletary, or Zamir? Great question. For the moment, I'd go Singletary. I like him against that Vikings defense. Make sure you hit the follow button. If you want to get every question you have answered, subscribe. We will do a subscriber-only show tonight. So if you don't want to battle the other questions, if you want to make sure all of your questions get answered, just subscribe. That's how we clear it out. Kike Esquap, thoughts on the 10-man? Murray, Brees Hall, Kyron, Collins, DK, Ingram, Kirk, and Rice. A- team. Love the team. I'd be curious to know who your backup running backs are, but overall, love the squad. Hojo, start 1. I would start Rashee Rice, just barely over Devontae. Rashee Rice, barely over Devontae. Abdullah, Tank, or Keenan Allen? I'm going to go Keenan Allen. I like the matchup for Keenan Allen. Kai, rate my 12-man. Lawrence, Bijan, Pacheco, Waddle, Pittman, Neighbors, Higgins, Schultz, Seahawks defense, Fairburn. I love your running backs. Not sure about Trevor Lawrence. You probably believe in him a little bit more than me, but you waited on him, so I don't have a problem with it. Overall, I think this is a B+, maybe a B, depending on how things go. Larkus, out of Devontae, Kupp, Evans, and McLaurin, which one should I trade? Devontae Adams. Ricky, what are your thoughts on Dak this year? Would you start Goff or Mayfield ahead of him? I would start Goff ahead of him, certainly for week 1. Bad matchup for Dak to start the season. What about Cowboys defense for week 1? I'm not crazy about it, especially because I think the Browns, I think the Cowboys defense will be fine. I think you could absolutely start them. I don't think they're a bad play, just not necessarily one of my favorites. Are you going to do a fantasy draft with followers this year? Moody, we've done 20 so far. Michael, rate my 10-man. Dak, Henry, Walker, Hill, Devontae, Debo, and Njoku. I'm going to give it a B, B+. You've got some players I have some questions about, so it's holding me back just a little bit. We're going to take a quick question. Let's see what this quick question's about. Letting some of you callers hit us up. SCF, what's good?
Hey, man, how you doing?
How you living? What can we do for you?
Okay, so I drafted last night in a 10-man, full PPR, 2 QB, 2 flex league. I just want to see what you think about it.
Fire away.
So 2 QBs, I have Anthony Richardson and Jaden Daniels.
Love it.
2 very good rushing upside.
Yep.
2 running backs of Taylor and Connor.
Solid.
My wide receivers, I've got Wilson and Drake London.
What was the first one? Wilson? Oh, love it. Love the wide receivers.
Evan Ingram at tight end.
Great pick.
2 flexes are DJ Moore and Deontay Johnson.
Okay, love the Moore. For a second flex, Deontay Johnson's a solid one.
Yeah, he's rotational.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
My defense, I have the Niners, not good for week 1, but over the full length of the season.
Yep, I agree.
And then I got Digger the kicker.
Digger the kicker, sure.
I quite like my bench as well. I mean, I got Tajee Spears, Chase Brown, Tyler Lockett, Curtis Samuel, Zeke, and Deshaun Watson.
I think overall your team's a B+, what I would say. I think it has the potential to be an A- if your running backs perform above expectation. It's a really solid squad. I think it's a team that makes the playoffs. To me, it's about whether your running backs... I have concern about James Conner over the course of the season. Right now, he's a solid RB2. I don't know if you can get away with that for the entire season. So that's why I like that you've got some depth with Chase Brown. I could see Chase Brown at times filling into that role. Again, I think it's a B+. I think it's a really solid team. Can it win a title? You're going to have to manage it a little bit, especially, again, at running back.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's a 17-round draft. You've got to get what you can take sometimes.
It's a tricky thing, but at the same time, you did a good job. So, bravo to you. Well done, bud.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good day.
You too. Appreciate you following. Appreciate you watching the show. Let's go to another caller. We've got O on the line. Let's see what O wants to talk about. What's good, O?
Hey, what's going on?
How you living?
Love the show.
Thanks so much. How can we help you?
Hey, so I want to start 2 out of these 3. They're going to be flexes. Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, or Christian Kirk?
That's a tricky one. I got to start 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
I'll start Godwin. And then it's between Deontay Johnson and Kirk. It's tough because both are facing good corners. Ramsey for the Dolphins and what's his name for the Saints? I'm blanking on it at the moment. I'm gonna go Kirk because I trust the Jaguars more. I trust Trevor Lawrence more. That's where I really come out. Both don't have a great matchup, but I think I trust Christian Kirk more.
Yeah, that's what I had set up. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Have a great day. Appreciate you watching the show.
All right. Bye.
Got to hang up on him now. Okay, Kashoot. Let's see what Kashoot wants to talk about. Next caller on the line. Kashoot, what's good?
What's going on?
How you living?
Love the show.
Thanks, man.
Doing good. Quick question. So I got sent an offer. It's pretty simple. It's Jalen Waddle for Rachaad White. Kind of in.
Who are you getting?
I'm getting Jalen Waddle.
I would do the trade.
You would do the trade? Okay, it's PPR. My only worry is...
Who are your running backs?
Yeah, so I put myself in a position where Rachaad White is actually my flex. I have Derrick Henry and Bijan Robinson as my RB1 and 2.
Yeah.
And my wide receivers are pretty weak. Right now I have Devontae Smith as my 1 and Chris Godwin as my 2.
Yep, you need that trade. This is actually a really good trade. I think Rachaad White regresses. He had such a good fantasy year last year. I don't see him duplicating that level of success. I think he's going to be good to exactly the strategy you had. I liked him as an RB2, like a flex if you didn't have a spot for him. That to me is where his value was. I think Waddle immediately becomes a wide receiver 2 for you. And then the combo of Smith and Waddle and Godwin, you'll find one of those guys is wide receiver 1 worthy like each week.
They'll take turns.
Exactly. So I would make the trade. I actually might see if you could ask for a little bit more, even if it is a throw-in piece. If you have a roster spot. If you don't, and it's just a player you drop. But because it's a running back, I will always ask for more, and then if he's like no, then it's like I would legitimately say, is Waddle the most I could get? And if they're like yes, then it's like fine, I'll give up a running back. But because running backs are more valuable, I do think it's always worth trying to just like in Madden, ask until you get a rejection, and then you can go back to what works.
Exactly. Yep. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm about to send the offer right now.
Awesome. Appreciate you watching the show.
Yep. Thank you.
Let's get D. Turner up here. D. Turner is one of our most loyal viewers, so I got to make sure we get his question in. Let's see what D. Turner wants to talk about. D. Turner, what's good?
Hey, how are you?
Loving life. How you doing?
Good. I'm just working away as usual. So I did the trade for Marvin Harrison Jr. So now I want your thoughts on my roster. I got Jordan Love as my QB1, Devon A-Chain, Breece Hall, Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr. It's a tight end half PPR, so they get 1.5. So I have Evan Ingram, and then double flex, so I have Brock Bowers and Xavier Worthy. So that's my starting.
I mean, I love the team. I think it's a B+. I don't know if Marvin Harrison Jr. lifts it into that A- status. It's close, but I love the team. I love that Achan's your second running back. I think that is so big to me that you have Bijan and it's Bijan, right, is the number 1, and then him is the number 2. Oh, Breece, sorry. Yeah, either way, you're in such a great spot. I'd say it's a B+ with the ability to be an A- if everyone stays healthy. If Achan plays like an RB1, it's an A- team.
Yeah, and then my backup quarterback's T-Law, which I'm not huge on, and then I have Joshua Palmer. I have Joshua Palmer, Jalen Polk, and then Brian Thomas Jr. on my bench.
All right, you shouldn't have told me the bench because now it's a firm B+. I don't love the bench. Don't love the bench.
Yeah, so I tried to trade away Jalen Polk, but I just don't want to drop him because you never know what he could be.
I can tell you what he's going to be. He's going to be a number 1 or number 2 wide receiver for one of the worst passing offenses in the league No, I don't want anything to do with Polk. Like, unless you're in a massive... It depends how deep your league is, but I don't think it's deep enough to warrant Jalen Polk. I'll just be honest with you. I'm going to let you go because you paused on me, so I'm going to let you go, and then we'll get to someone else. Thanks, D. Turner. Let's go to Maxwell. Maxwell's going to be our next caller on the line. Maxwell, what's good?
What's going on? I just have a couple of questions. I'll be quick. I know you got people on here. So I have Ladd McConkey, or I think so you say his name.
Ladd McConkey.
Because I have high hope for him, knowing Justin Herbert.
Maxwell, are you new to the show? Have you watched us before?
Dude, I'm new. I just scrolled up on here, man.
Okay, cool.
Just...
Yeah, so I've been talking about Ladd McConkey for the past few months. I'm really high on him for two reasons. One, that wide receiver room was decimated with the loss of Williams and Keenan Allen, and Quentin Johnston sucks. Like, no knock on him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Guy can't catch a cold in a hospital ward. So with that said, I really like Ladd McConkey emerging as a wide receiver 1 over the course of the year, and he's so discounted. You can draft him in round 12, 13, 14, 15 in most leagues. He's so undervalued. And what I would also say is sometimes we say that very same scenario and that the wide receiver isn't worth it because they're playing with like a Bryce Young. He's playing with Justin Herbert. His coach is Harbaugh. Harbaugh's not going to just be pure run. He wants to be balanced. So Justin Herbert, great thrower of the football. No real competition for wide receiver 1 other than Quentin Johnston, who we just talked about. And obviously, the Chargers overall are probably a better roster on paper than people really recognize. I think it's a steal, but I think it's a long-term play. If you're looking for it to be like an immediate success, maybe pump the brakes on that. But in terms of season-long, I think it's a steal.
Right, yeah, because he's in all my leagues. And also, another person I kind of drafted a lot was Terry McLaurin because they just...
Huge on him. Same thing. Now, different because he's established as a commodity. I actually compare Terry McLaurin to Chris Olave. If they had a really good quarterback, we'd be talking about them as a top 5, top 8 wide receiver. Because they're playing with that next tier. Now, Jaden Daniels has the ability to maybe be, an elite quarterback, but for the moment, Terry McLaurin just came out of purgatory and into heaven because he got a real quarterback. I love Terry McLaurin this year. I think he's a lock-in wide receiver 2, but if you told me by the end of the year he's wide receiver 1 value, wouldn't shock me.
Absolutely, and the last guy, my bad, Zamir White. What's your thoughts on him? I have high hopes for Zamir, man. I see what he... I know he's shaky. I know it's shaky.
No, Zamir White he's a good risk play. If he's your RB2, I'm not crazy about it.
He is my RB2, man. But my wide receiver core is stacked. So my 2 running backs are Rashad White and then Zamir White, and I have Olave, Jamar Chase, and then I gotta check, but yeah, he is my.
You know what I would honestly do? I would trade Jamar Chase and try to upgrade the running back position. If you're so loaded at wide receiver, I would use Jamar Chase as a piece to like massively upgrade. If Zamir White is an RB2 flex, I can kind of live with that. But if he's like a firm RB2 for you, I just don't trust the Raiders' offense enough. I don't trust their line enough. I don't trust their quarterback enough. There's a lot of things that say fade the Raiders, and so I'm just not as high. You could talk me into Zamir White again as like a flex play. Hard for me to love it as an RB2.
I appreciate you, man. I'll let someone else get on here. Thanks so much, man.
Make sure you hit that follow button, Max.
Oh, of course. Yes, sir. Got you.
See ya.
Alrighty.
Okay, let's get to our next caller. WWE in public. WWE in public. What's good?
What's up? What's up?
How you living?
How you living?
How can we help you today?
So, I made a trade. I got Dak and T. Higgins for Jalen Hurts and Lockett.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
You gave up Dak and T. Higgins for who?
No. I gave up Hurts and Lockett for them.
Oh, then I love it. Yeah, okay. I was afraid you were on the other side. Love the trade.
I'm on the other side, yes.
No, I love it because I don't think Lockett has a lot of value. I think Lockett is going to be a wide receiver 3 on the Seahawks team as JSN continues to emerge. I think you got the better of the deal.
Yeah. And since Nick Chubb is out, I have Jerome Ford but I have Pacheco starting. So, do you think I should start Ford over Pacheco?
No. Start Pacheco.
Start Pacheco?
Start Pacheco.
So, do you think DK or Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp.
Alright, that's it.
Thank you so much, WWE. You have a great day with those farm animals that you got going in the background. Okay, we're going to get to Mason. Mason's the next viewer we got coming up. Let's see what Mason wants to talk about. Mason, what's good?
What's up, man?
How you living?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, killing it. How can we help you?
I've got Jay Jettas and Mike Evans, and then for the flex option, should I start DJ Moore or Ridley?
DJ Moore. And the battle, interestingly enough, the Titans are facing the Bears, so you're on that game. Has anyone noticed that the Bears defense is good? Like, has anyone paid attention? That Bears defense, I know we're talking about their offense and the weapons they added. Bears defense is underrated, and they've got some pieces in the secondary. Meanwhile, I know that the Titans added Snead. I still think DJ Moore's going to ball. I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to break through with Caleb Williams this year. I'll go DJ Moore for this matchup. If they were playing different teams, maybe I'd feel differently, but I like DJ Moore.
Yes, sir. And then I've got Kyron Williams and Zamir White. But do you think Zamir White for Aaron Jones is a good trade, or should I keep Zamir and see what he does?
I'd rather have Zamir. So it's funny, the last caller just mentioned Zamir White. I think he's a fringe RB2, maybe more of a flex play more often. But that said, I'm not high on the Vikings offense at all. Sure, you could talk me into Justin Jefferson because he's one of the best receivers in the history of football. But that said, I don't like their quarterback. I'm not crazy about their O-line. They've got a lot of injuries, a lot of question marks. I would much rather have Zamir White than Aaron Jones.
All right, and then one more question, sorry.
Not at all.
I got Love and Caleb Williams.
It's tricky. It's a tricky one because this week I really want to say Caleb Williams. I feel like the kid's going to ball in his rookie debut. It feels like he's going to ball. Like, it feels right. I don't really like the matchup that Jordan Love has. The secondary of the Eagles, as bad as it was last year, is improved. I think Jordan Love is the safer play. I think Caleb Williams is the more fun play. I'll put it that way. I'd probably say I'd probably go with Caleb Williams this week.
All right, I'm going to do it, see what happens.
Hold your nose and just grit your teeth and get through it, Mason. We'll talk about it next week, see how it went.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Later, bud. Let's get another one up here. Philly Sports Highlights, one of our loyals. Let's see what Philly Sports Highlights wants to talk about. Philly Sports, what's good?
So, I had a draft on Saturday, and I just want to see how you feel on the team.
Fire away.
So, my QB1, Josh Allen. My wide receiver 1, Justin Jefferson. My wide receiver 2, Cooper Kupp. My running backs are Saquon, Zamir White. And then my flex is Devontae Smith.
Okay.
And then I'm between Smith and Rashee Rice, and I also have my Conky on the bench.
Okay, I like the team, but I can see some flaws. I'm not crazy about the running back combo. It's okay. It's not great. I'm going to give the team like a B+. It's on the fringe there. If Josh Allen doesn't regress, and I fear he does, it's a B+. But I feel like this team might be closer to a B because Josh Allen doesn't have the wide receivers he had last year. I don't know if he's going to be as productive. Zamir White, I'm not as high on that. I love your wide receivers, but there's some question marks to this squad.
All right. And then how'd you feel on Rashee Rice or Devontae Smith?
For this week or in general?
For this week.
Really tough. I really like both of them, to be honest. They're two of the wide receivers I actually think could have a really big week. That said, whenever we have a question like this, I'm going to go with the guy who's wide receiver 1. Rashee Rice. He's wide receiver 1. He should get more targets and more opportunities. I think Devontae Smith, there are a lot of mouths to feed in that Eagles offense, as you well know as an Eagles fan. So I'll go Rashee Rice this week just because I think I like it a little bit more.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day, man. I didn't get a great day back. Okay. Ryan, let's see what Ryan wants to talk about. Ryan's going to be our next caller on the line. Let's see what Ryan wants to discuss. Ryan, what's good?
Hey, what's up, man? Similarly to the last person who just joined in, I kind of want to tell you my lineup I got going and then just some general feedback.
That's what we do here, man. Fire away.
So I did a 12-man PPR. I had the 10th pick. The starting lineup is Jordan Love. My running backs are ETN and James Conner. And then I'm proud of my receiving core. It's Justin Jefferson fell to me at 10. I got Cooper Kupp, and then Jalen Waddle is my flex right now.
Yep.
And then Mark Andrews is my tight end. I think it's a solid starting core. I have Cortland Sutton as one of my bench receivers, who I think has sneaky upside.
Mm-hmm.
And Tajay Spears, if he could win some more steal some possessions from Tony Pollard, I think could be really good. But I've been thinking about maybe trying to seek a third, more consistent running back in that group.
Yep. You knew exactly where I was going to go. So what I would say is, first of all, before I break down the team, I love how you said, I'm proud of my wide receivers. Just the way you phrased that was hilarious. I'm proud of them too. I'm sure they've been really good boys and they've done a really good job, and I'm very proud of them for cleaning their room this morning. So anyways, I love how you said that. But to the team overall, you hit the nail on the head. You're a little weak at the running back position. I'm not as high on ETN as others are. I like him a lot as a fringe RB1, but really as a high-end RB2. You have him as your RB1, and you're asking James Conner to be that RB2. That could work for half the year. I don't think it'll work for the entire year. So you're a little weak at running back. Your wide receivers are great. You're totally right. But frankly, I'd always rather be stronger at running back than stronger at wide receiver, because running back is harder to replace and has more upside value. So with that said, yes, I would probably try to make a trade to upgrade that running back group. I don't want to... I love your idea about Cortland Sutton. I think you're right. The more Bo Nix showed that he is a legitimate quarterback, and will show that, the more value Cortland Sutton has. Maybe that means you can trade Waddle because you feel like you've got another wide receiver that you could put in some weeks. Waddle has good value if you did trade him. I'm not necessarily telling you who to trade, but that's an example of the difference between Waddle and Cortland Sutton probably isn't as big a margin as the running back that you'll get and the upgrade he'll be over who's your backup, who's your third running back. I think you have a need there and you could get value. For a 12-man league, I'd probably give the team a B. If you upgraded at running back, it'd be a B+ for me.
Gotcha. I appreciate it, man. We're on the same wavelength as far as what I was thinking. I just my goal is probably move off of one of the receivers.
I know you're proud of them, but to be fair, I would trade one of them and upgrade at running back because you won't regret it. You're more likely to regret not getting the running back later on than getting the running back and watching. For the few weeks Waddle goes off, you'll probably be fine at wide receiver anyways.
Sure. You know what it was? When I was drafting, I was kind of shocked that they were all just falling into my lap.
And that's what happens. Sometimes you got to play the board. And if there are just good players that are still there, I think you did the right thing. So what I want to make sure you hear is, I don't think you had the wrong draft strategy. I don't think you built a bad team. I just think now it gets to that point where you got to tweak. Most people do not draft a perfect team. There's a little bit of work that needs to be done. I think you're in that work stage.
No, I couldn't agree more, man. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Make sure you hit the follow button and talk to us throughout the year. I'd love to know how it goes. Our next caller coming up is going to be, let's go to Nate. It's going to be our next caller. Let's see what Nate wants to talk about. Nate, what's good?
What's up, Butt Fumble?
How you living?
Good, how about you?
Oh, I'm crushing it. How can we help you?
Alright, so I was looking for a team rating, and then also, opinion on who I should start in the flex.
Go for it.
So this is a 12-man PPR. I have Anthony Richardson at quarterback, Jahmyr Gibbs and Mixon as running backs, Garrett Wilson and Neighbors as wide receivers, Kincaid at tight end, and right now I have Coleman in the flex. And on the bench I have Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, Jerome Ford, McConkey.
Yeah, I'd probably start Jerome Ford week 1 in the flex. I know that doesn't sound right, but actually he's the RB1 for the Browns, I believe. So he has good value for the week 1. I'd probably start him. Overall, it's a really solid team. Yeah, you do have a question at the flex position. Of all the spots I'm okay having a question each week, it's the flex. really solid starting lineup. I'd give the starting lineup a B+. Again, if the flex were more solidified, it'd be an A-. But I think it's a really solid team. For a 12-man league, I think you did really well.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day, man. Make sure you hit the follow button.
Thanks.
Okay, let's go to... we already got you, bud. Already got you, WWE.
Hello.
We already got you. Yeah, you're off. We already answered your question. CB, what's good? We went to go to CB. What's good, CB?
Yo, what's up?
How you living?
Good. I had just a couple questions.
Fire away.
Alright, so yesterday I had a draft. It was half PPR, 12-man.
Let's get it.
I want you to give me an opinion on my team.
Yeah.
Alright, so for my quarterback, I got Jalen Hurts. My running backs are Saquon and Najee Harris. And then my receivers are Jefferson and Devontae Adams. And my tight end is Njoku. And then for my flex, I have Zay Flowers. And I also have Aaron Jones and Chris Godwin on my bench.
Okay, you said your quarterback's Hurts?
Yeah.
And you have Barkley as a running back?
Yeah.
You're a little overloaded on the Eagles, but it's okay given that it's quarterback, running back. I'm not going to hate on that. Overall, I think the team's a B+. Couple of holes I see, but overall it's a solid squad. I like your running backs. Your wide receivers. Hit me with the two wide receivers again.
Jefferson and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're two brand names that sound really good and on paper look really good, but I'm afraid both are going to regress because they're quarterback situations. It's one of the reasons where if those two had better quarterback situations, this is an A- team for sure. But I actually have some question marks about them. So I think you're a playoff-bound team, but I also think there's some traps there. Make sure you're deeper at wide receiver than you may first assume.
Yeah, okay. And then I'm just a little questioning right now because I knew as soon as I picked Hurts, I was like, damn, I have two double Eagles right there, and it's a little sketchy.
It could be worse though. I would rather have Hurts and Barkley than let's say Hurts and Brown or Hurts and Smith. I don't like stacking quarterback and wide receivers or two pass catchers. I'm actually okay stacking a running back and then an aspect of the passing game because then I'm just investing in the Eagles. And if you think the Eagles are going to be a top 5 offense, hey, you're going to score points almost no matter what. So you're fine, actually. Quarterback, running back, in season-long fantasy, I feel better about stacking those two than two wide receivers or a tight end and a wide receiver or a quarterback and a pass catcher.
All right, yeah, that makes sense because one of my other friends, he offered me just Lamar for Hurts straight up, and I was like,
I don't hate that. Don't get me wrong. I actually think that's a pretty fair trade. In fact, Lamar actually might be the better side of it. So if you did the deal, would not hate on it.
I haven't done it. That's why I was coming to ask you. What do you think about that?
I would probably approve it. If nothing else, to diversify your lineup, and I think Lamar has a big year, so I like it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, man. Be good. Hit that follow button, bud.
Gotcha.
Chef Roy, one of my favorites. One of the loyalists. Getting the spinning wheel of death, Chef. Are we having a bad connection, Chef? Oh. Chef Roy, I can't get you right now. For some reason, the connection's bad. Try again, buddy, because I'd love to have you on. Let's get Dylan on. Dylan's a team member. Let's see what Dylan wants to talk about. Dylan, be chillin'. What's good?
What's going on, man? I got an update for you.
Let's get it.
So, I tried to go after somebody big like Jonathan Taylor, but nobody was biting. Somebody counter-offered me James Conner and Calvin Ridley for just Jamar Chase. So, I kept Montgomery. I gave him Jamar Chase, and he gave me James Conner and Calvin Ridley.
You did the deal?
Yeah. I tried to go after a couple other different, bigger running backs, but nobody else was biting, and they were wanting more than I was comfortable giving up.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. I don't think you lost it. I think it's kind of it didn't accomplish what I wanted it to accomplish for you. I really wanted you to upgrade that running back room, and I would have been willing to lessen the wide receiver aspect. I don't hate it. I don't love it. it's, it's okay. It's fine.
There was, like I said, I tried to go after, like, Jonathan Taylor, but he was wanting Jamar Chase and Trey McBride, which was my starting tight end.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah. No, that dude, spit in his face and tell him, I'm not a sucker. Because he's trying to take your pants down.
I was kind of hoping and looking at, with Kyler Murray coming back from a serious injury, I'm kind of hoping they limit his running.
Yeah, but they're not. He came back last year. Remember, like, your thought would have been accurate last year, not this year. This year, he's back full health. So I don't agree with you. I think he's going to be more of a running option this year. It's one of the reasons I'm not as high on Connor. He's also, to me, it's just about where James Conner is in his career, like, journey. Like, he is older. He is on the back end of the bell curve. They're going to protect him. They're going to use the other running backs more often. It's not that I don't like him. It's that I kind of like him for, like, the first 8 weeks of the year. I don't know if he plays a full season at the level you need. So what I would say is, okay, we've made the deal. We're going to live with it. Go, as the season goes along, you got to play that waiver wire. You got to be finding the Kyren Williams of this year. The guy who's going to be available on the waiver wire who ends up being a steal. It could be the backup for the Arizona Cardinals. Could be a couple other guys, but that's going to be your mission for the first, 6 weeks of the season.
Roger. Cool. Well, I guess I'll keep my eye open on the waiver wire, and we'll keep my eye on the show.
And stay chilling, man. You know how to do. We'll catch you later, Dylan.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Dylan's one of my favorites. Love having him on. Let's see if Chef Roy's Juice is able to join now. I would love to have Chef Roy join. Chef Roy, I'm trying. Here we go. Chef, what's good?
Yo, what's going on?
How you living, dude? Great to have you on the show.
I'm living large, man. Happy to see you back on live, giving everyone the fantasy content. Yeah, I drafted a team in my family league. We do an auction draft.
Auction drafts are the freaking best. My favorite drafts.
I knew you would like them. I think they're a lot of fun, and I think that they're the new wave of...
Real quick, this is my rant. If any of you are new to the show, this is how I feel about auction draft versus snake draft. A snake draft is communism. Everyone's equal, everyone's fair, and thus nothing is equal and nothing is fair, because if I want a player, I can't get them because some computer or some stupid draft system prevents me from getting the player I want. It's bullshit. I don't live in Russia. I live in America, and I like capitalism. Auction draft is capitalism. If you want them, great, go get them. It'll just cost you, and it means you have to make choices, and thus you can't get everything you want. It's like NASCAR. It's having Daytona at the beginning of the year rather than at the end. It's the Super Bowl to start your season. I love auction drafts.
No, I love that. I love that feedback on auction drafts. I think that they're a lot of fun. And it's like you said, if you want to get that guy...
It's up to you. You can get them. It just means you're going to handcuff yourself in other ways. I frickin' love it. So go ahead.
So we did a 12-man half-point PPR auction draft, and I went big on my 2 running backs.
As you should. That's what I do. Yep.
It's a super flex league, so quarterbacks are at a premium. So my running backs are Bijan Robinson and Devon Achane, with my depth being what my depth is DeAndre Swift.
Love it.
And then I have Zach Moss.
Oh, Zach Moss, by the way, it was announced he's RB1 to start the year. Don't expect that to be the case throughout the year. I think Chase Brown will eventually take that spot, but at least for now, he is an RB1. I mention that because actually, he might have trade value. If he gets off to a decent start early in the year, because he's playing the Patriots and he's playing maybe some lesser teams, you may be able to trade him at like week 4 and get better value given where his season will ultimately go.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good point. That he's the type of guy where he's not a handcuff, but he could have that job.
Love the running backs, though. You're in a great spot. Swift as a third running back is a stud. Love it.
Love it. All right, so we're getting into the wide receivers. I got Mike Evans and Brandon Ayuk with Christian Watson, Jordan Addison, and Jordan Addison, Christian Watson, Mike Evans, 3 bench guys, and then you go Ayuk and Evans.
I'm not big on Jordan Addison. He's got the injury going on, the quarterback situation. So I'm not about that. I like the other wide receivers more. You've already won me over. Your team is like an A- floor for me anyways because you won the running back position. But what I would say is your wide receivers are very solid. I don't know if you've got, like, you don't have anyone there who's going to be like, oh, he just won me the week, like, on his own, most likely.
Well, Mike Evans did that a couple of weeks
See,
last
I
year.
knew you were going to say, to me, he's a high floor guy, which is he's very consistent. He's going to get his catches, but especially with I think the Bucs offense in general regresses. Like, they overplayed last year.
Yeah.
One, because their division was so bad, and the division is better this year. And two, like, Rachaad White played way too well. And, like, Baker played people will give them respect now. So I think that regresses, and it's not a bad play. It's just more like, I think Mike Evans is more a wide receiver 2.
Right, but then that kind of gives you that mentality of if you're playing it, if you got a wide receiver for a team where they're going to be down a lot and they like to air the ball out and Baker throws the ball down.
I'm not saying they're going to be down a lot. What I'm saying is the production's not going to be there the same way. What I saw last year is, first of all, Rachaad White was just like a stud. There were weeks there was like an 8-week stretch there where he was arguably the best fantasy running back outside of McCaffrey. So I don't see that. And with Mike Evans, to me, it's all about, one, he's been so consistent that eventually does he get hurt? I don't think that's, I'm obviously not rooting for that. But it's just opposing defenses. Does Baker Mayfield, like, they have a whole full year of tape? So anyways, I'm not knocking it, not hating on it. It's just like, okay.
No, that's good feedback. It's good feedback on the Mike Evans. So tight end room, I have Evan Ingram and I have Jake Ferguson.
Love it. Evan Ingram. First of all, Evan Ingram's the tight end no one's talking about who could be the monster this year. Because in that offense, they have enough weapons around him where I think it actually took attention away from him by opposing defenses and by fantasy owners. But he just kills it. And Trevor Lawrence finds him all over the field. I'm huge on him. And then Jake Ferguson, this Cowboys offense isn't that good. It's just not. So he's going to get more opportunities. He's going to get more targets. Yeah. So I really like the two of them and playing them in tandem. You said you're in a two
super flex, right? So we're going to get into quarterbacks now. So quarterbacks are...
And you have to start 2 quarterbacks.
No. Your second super flex could be wide receiver, running back, tight end.
It could be...
quarterback.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So then I drafted 3 quarterbacks, and I start 2 and I bench 1. And my quarterbacks are Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield, and Derek Carr.
I don't like that. I don't know. You were investing way too much in the NFC South for my liking.
No, I got the Baker in my Evans stack, and then I got Aaron Rodgers.
See, I'm not about stacking. This is something that if you watch the show in the last few days, I've talked about this. For daily fantasy, I love stacking. For season long, I'm not as big on it because when they miss, that's like an automatic L for the whole team because you've now overloaded a little bit. If you do running game and passing game and you stack that, that's fine. But stacking like the Bucs passing game, man, they better be playing like shit teams all the time.
No, the quarterbacks were going really high.
Well, clearly you're in a league that values them. So, and you're in a tough spot because like Aaron Rodgers is clearly your guy. Like you're really reliant on him, and I'm not holding my breath that he stays healthy a full year again because like.
Yeah.
He's
old.
It's
also tough to try and predict injuries and say who's going to be in and who's going to be out. But when you look at the age, I mean, the numbers don't lie.
To me, let's put it this way. I almost wish instead of going with a Derek Carr or Baker Mayfield, you had found a way to get a Jaden Daniels or a Caleb Williams. So what's interesting about Will Levis is going to be that guy who, like, there's going to be a week where he throws 3 picks. And the next week, he'll throw 5 touchdowns. And you'll be like, Will Levis. Yeah. Like, he is going to be a circus. I think he could actually have a breakout year from a fantasy standpoint. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to bump their head on the, 500 ceiling record-wise. But he could have a breakout year. I don't hate him. You don't probably need to pick him up right now because he'll be available on the waiver wire.
That's the thing. No one's available. No starting quarterback is available in the league because there's 12 guys. Everyone on the roster is 2 to 3.
You know what would be the best move is waiver wire Drake May, because in week 6 when he takes over, he actually you're in such a league where that could have value. That's crazy league.
Another little thing about that we do in this league that I think is great and that should be adopted elsewhere is we changed the waiver wire to make it fully live all the time. So if I wanted to add or drop somebody right now, I can do it. Or if I'm watching the game, like last year I was watching the Browns game when Nick Chubb went out, I was watching the game, picked up Jerome Ford while the game was happening.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like that. I hate that.
It's fun.
I hate that there's this like moratorium on being able to get a player, and thus any advantage I had on like knowing something or knowing who the backup is like lost, because then everyone gets back to baseline zero. Yeah.
And it incentivizes people that are watching games
To be active, to be engaged. Yeah, I'm about it, but I also understand why my friends who have like kids and a wife and a life are like, I can't do that. Well, tough shit. Like, choose a life or choose fantasy. You can't have both. You know, so. So that's where I come out. I agree with you. I think it's a great thing. Another thing that I'm big into that I'm starting in one of my leagues because is weekly prizes. If you have the number one scoring team, some people actually wanted us to do like, if I own the number one scoring at a certain position, I get $20 or I get a small prize for that. So just cool ways again of just incentivize. You know, it's like golf. Make every hole a different amount of money. Make it fun as you can.
Yeah, we did that in one of my leagues. We got a little side prize pot going.
There you go.
Week in, week out, you'll get different prizes for top performing week, and then we're implementing the jail thing. So if you're last place, you're not allowed to touch waivers until you get out of the doghouse.
Love it. Love it. Do you guys do punishments for last place?
You know what? Last year we didn't, and I was like, we got to establish a punishment now, so that way whoever's in last doesn't start, complaining about it or whatever. So we don't have one in set yet, but I'm working on getting one.
See, I don't have any leagues that do it, and I feel like I need one because I need to incentivize. Because there's always one or two teams that are out of it, and then they just tank, and they're not paying attention. And I need them to pay attention enough where it's like, dude, God forbid you have to eat dog poop like Knoll 321, like so I need to find something that's not like, I don't want it to be like a tattoo. I don't want someone to like lose their job or like have their life changed, but I definitely need to find something. So I'm gonna put that on you. If you come up with something good, share it with me, and I'll implement it in my league.
I'll shoot you a DM if I find a good one. You do the same for me.
You know I will. Thanks for hitting us up. Make sure you watch all season long. I love having you as a viewer.
I'll be here Sunday mornings getting my team right.
Let's go. See you later, bud.
Later, bro.
I love our viewers, guys. I love our viewers. Our viewers are real sports fans just like you, talking shit with me every day. It's the best. All right, let's get another caller in here. Let's see what Kevin wants to talk about. Kevin, what's good? Oh, you paused on me, Kevin. You jumped away from the screen.
Can you hear me?
I can now. What's good?
Not much. So,
You got to stay on TikTok. Kevin, every time you leave TikTok, you mute yourself. I can't hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to just keep it short and sweet. So I got a couple questions about the flex position in my
fire away.
PPR league. I'm debating whether I should start Jacoby Myers or Ladd McConkey.
For week one?
Yeah.
I'd go Ladd McConkey.
Okay. And also, what do you think about Ben Sinnott,
the tight end?
On the Commanders?
I don't think he has any value right now, but over the course of the year, I think he eventually will. So give it some time. I think by week like 5 or 6, it could be a good play.
Okay. And all right, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, man.
All right, make sure you follow and hit us up.
Okay.
All right, let's get another user in here. Who is this? Who did I just hit on? Tyler, you're getting the spinning wheel of death. Tyler, you hear me? Tyler, say hi.
Can you hear me all right?
I got you. What's good?
Can you hear me?
I got you.
All right. I've got a 10-man half-point PPR draft tonight. Trying to strategize a little bit, see if you can help me out.
Of course.
So I've got the 10th pick. So I'm looking to stack at the end here a little running back and wide receiver with my first 2 picks. And I'm debating between, it's looking like I'm probably going to end up with like A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, or Garrett Wilson. But I'm trying to stay away from getting Saquon and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm debating whether I want to do A.J. Brown and Jonathan Taylor or Garrett Wilson and Saquon.
I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor, and I think, funny enough, I might rather have Jonathan Taylor and Garrett Wilson, but that's a separate story. I think A.J. Brown might regress a little bit just because the mouths to feed in that offense, Saquon Barkley included. So it's funny that you're trying to find a way. If you want to invest in the Eagles' offense, I think I'd probably rather invest. It's tough. It's close. The thing is, I prefer Jonathan Taylor over Saquon, so that kind of it makes it a default. But I think I like Garrett Wilson more than A.J. Brown, too. As long as Rodgers stays healthy.
Yeah, I was kind of leaning that way. I didn't really want to get...
That said, if I could encourage you to take Jonathan Taylor and Saquon and double up on the running backs, I would. Those are two RB1s. I would lock that in if I could.
I thought about doing that.
I know it's a long... Here's the issue. I know it's a long wait then to round 3 to get your number 1 wide receiver. So, what? It'll be Chris Olave, Drake London, DK Metcalf. It'll be a talented wide receiver. I would rather have two of the top 5-7 running backs in the league this year than have a wide receiver. So I'd go JT and Saquon.
So who do you think I should try to... If I do the 2 running backs, who do you think I should be targeting as my 2 receivers potentially?
Like I said, Chris Olave, Drake London, DK Metcalf. There are going to be a bunch of these guys who, they're a wide receiver 1 on their team. They're just not one of the, 5 best wide receivers. Chris Olave is a great guy to get in the 3rd round. Drake London, and again, you're in that same position, so you're going to be able to stack. So, taking the 2 top running backs in the first 2 rounds and then the 2 best wide receivers on the board. Do I love Deebo Samuel as a wide receiver this year? Not really, but if he's your wide receiver 2 after you draft a DK Metcalf or a Drake London with the 3rd round pick, pretty solid squad, JT, Saquon Barkley, Drake London, and Deebo Samuel, pretty good team. Michael Pittman Jr., maybe not him because you're then overloading on the Colts. I shouldn't say him, actually, because you're doubling up on the Colts. But you get my point, which is, if you play it correctly, you should be fine in taking the top 2 wide receivers on the board, as long as maybe they're not an Eagle or a Colt. Maybe you stay away from Devontae Smith, Michael Pittman Jr., and maybe that's your rule. But even there, because you took running backs, you're okay stacking a running back and a receiver. I feel better about that than stacking 2 pass catchers.
When I was looking at my mock, the receivers in the round 2 and 3 that I'd be looking at would probably be Mike Evans, Nico Collins.
Right. Mike Evans is a solid play. Now, again, probably not what you were hoping for your wide receiver 1. So, by the way, what do I really hope? This is my secret hope for you. When you take back-to-back running backs, you know what you're actually doing? You're screwing up the draft. You're throwing a stink pot in there, and it's going to force people to draft running backs because then there's going to be a run on running back. That's what my expectation would be on the drafts I've done, is what usually happens is when someone in your position doubles up on running back, everyone in that 2nd round goes, holy shit, running backs are almost gone. I need to get Pacheco. I need to get Kyron Williams. I need to reach on some running backs because they so don't want to be locked out, especially if they took a wide receiver in round 1, which, given the wide receivers in this year's draft, 5, 6 of those first-round picks are going to be wide receivers? Probably in round 2, those are all going to be running backs. I think you could actually end up getting a steal at wide receiver, and it's way more likely you get a steal at wide receiver in round 3 than a steal at running back in round 3. That won't happen. Did we lose you, Tyler? I think we lost Tyler. Hopefully he got that advice because we were giving out some good stuff. John, one of our most loyal viewers, is on the phone. We got to get John on. Let's see how John's doing. Spinning wheel of death for John. John, what's good?
What's good, brother? How you doing?
I'm living life to the best. How you living?
I'm glad you're fine. You're still taking calls because I was like, man, 25 feet up on a ladder on the side of a house, talking, getting ready to do some painting. I'm like, man, I hope he's still taking calls when I get down off this ladder.
John, I saw you come on. I saw you join the live, and I went to myself, I can't end the show now. I gotta let John on.
My man. Okay, so just so you know, My nickname in every other platform is Natty John Wick.
I thought that was you. I thought it was you. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so put this in your mind. All right, keeper league. Every top dog is kept from 1 to 10.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You have the second pick. Who are you picking out of Jonathan Taylor or Jameer Gibbs?
I'm going to say Jonathan Taylor, and let me explain why. I really like Jameer Gibbs. I really like him. But the threat that that David Montgomery takes away some of his value is there. And so Jonathan Taylor doesn't have a threat at running back. He either is the number one guy or he gets hurt and you're fucked. So I'd rather go Jonathan Taylor.
Brother,
He'd be the one.
wait till you hear what happened last night. Okay, so we did the draft and I was second pick. And for some reason, the draft had to be frozen or something. Something happened. And I made my pick, Jameer Gibbs. And he was like, the commissioner was like, well, we got to restart it and reset it. I took Jonathan Taylor.
Good job, buddy. Now,
I was like, oh, why are you changing it up?
old switcheroo from John.
What I thought about.
You don't give him a second chance to make a first decision.
Yeah, so I was like, man, thank you for doing that, because, yeah, David Montgomery, he's going to steal all them fucking touchdowns unless Jameer Gibbs gets away on a
See, here's my thing. I love Jameer Gibbs. I'm very high on him. But David Montgomery is a good enough running back where it just concerns me enough. Just enough.
Yeah, right. If they're in the 10, within 10 yards of the end zone, David Montgomery's coming in.
Most likely, right.
Jameer Gibbs is being taken out.
I feel like Jameer Gibbs is between the 20s. David Montgomery's the red zone, right.
Hey, and our commissioner who won the Super Bowl last year, tell me why this character took Josh Allen, his third pick.
In the first round?
Third pick. Like the third round.
Oh, okay. I think that's a reach. You know because you watch the show. I think that's a reach. I think he did you a favor. But in all the rankings, Josh Allen's the number one quarterback. So I think your commissioner might be a bit of a rankings whore.
Well, in all technicality, because the first round went to keepers.
Gotcha. So, wow. Yeah, he used a draft capital that I think is too valuable to use on a quarterback.
My mouth hit the floor, and I went into into the draft, and I was like, I got a plan. I've been studying. I've been soaking in some knowledge from some people, and I actually got a plan for this fantasy. And last year, I was mouthy, talking shit. I was quiet as a fucking mouse through this whole draft. And they were like, John, what's going on with you? Like, why aren't you all hyper like you have been? Something needs to change.
Playing a coy and subtle and under the radar.
I'm tired of finishing in third, goddammit.
Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
Exactly, brother, but that's not. Yeah, that's all I wanted to shoot with you.
John, you're the best. Feel free to jump on anytime, buddy.
Yeah, brother, you know it. I'll be here every time you're on. You know it.
I love it, John. You're one of my favorites. You have a great afternoon, buddy.
Hey, you too, brother. Later, bye.
John's one of the best. I love talking John. Let's go to Stanky Nut. Stanky Nut's going to be next on the line. Stanky Nut, what's good?
Hi, how you doing?
How you living?
Good. Just wanted to ask.
Yeah, fire away.
On my 10-man PPR, I had the 9th pick. My first pick, I went with Jonathan Taylor, and then I double stacked RBs and went with Pacheco.
Love it.
Which may have been a slight reach over some guys, but
it's okay.
I feel good about him.
Yep.
Then when it came back to me, I doubled up on receivers with Mike Evans and Debo.
Love it.
I wound up going with Kenneth. Oh, actually, sorry, my bad. Third round, I actually took Kenneth Walker, so I went 3 running backs in a row. Which
it's a good strategy. You can't have enough quality running backs, and you miss them when they're not there. If you get them, you're fine. I love it.
Yeah, so I felt happy happy with that. So,
and by the way, Kenneth Walker III is a flex play. Really solid. Really solid.
Yeah, he's in my flex right now, and I was actually going to ask if I should be flexing him or Neighbors, who I have on my bench.
It's a great question. I don't have a great answer on it. Usually I say go running back. I usually default to running back if it's a question between running back and wide receiver, because I know a running back's going to get a certain number of carries and a certain number of opportunities. And my kind of rule of thumb, most people talk about like what someone's projected value is. I don't actually like that. I like their projected production. How many times are they going to be targeted? How many times are they going to get carries? That's really what you're working with. I don't know. They could get 5 catches and go for 100 yards or no yards, but if they're getting 0 catches, I know what they're going to produce. So make sure you're going with running back. I would recommend that in the flex.
All right, sounds good. And then with quarterback, I went with Kyler Murray.
Love it.
Feeling pretty good about him
Yeah.
this year.
This is a really solid team. Really solid team. You're getting this one right. Who's your tight end?
My tight end. So actually, with that, I forgot to draft a tight end initially. I took Hawkinson very late, but what I ended up doing was I traded for Jake Ferguson to just kind of bridge the gap, and I see him definitely having a good year.
I don't think Ferguson's going to be a good play this week because the Browns are so good. But that said, defensively that is. But that said, I love that move. Ferguson's going to be a solid start most weeks as long as it didn't cost you too much. It's a really nice Band-Aid at the position.
It costed me 2 of my late round picks. It was I took Lad McConkey, and Brian Thomas. There were 2 rookies
two guys that I'm very high on that I really like, but those 2 are lottery tickets. They could be the winning lottery ticket, or they could be thrown on the ground just as quickly. You know what you're getting from Jake Ferguson. It's a position of need. I actually like the trade. Do I think you gave up too much? Not really. You gave up 2 unknown assets for 1 known asset. It's not a terrible deal.
I got Jacoby Myers back with that as well.
So okay, so just something to make you feel better, even though it does nothing for me. Like, okay, at least it was a 2 for 2.
And then my bench receivers, which are pretty deep, I feel like I got Neighbors, Rashee Rice, and Keon Cole.
Oh, now the trade makes even more sense. You have too many wide receivers to even put in the lineup. That was a good trade. You made the right move, and I'm glad with the players you traded, because if you had traded to Rashee Rice, no, that's not right. You're giving up too much. But truly, 2 rookie wide receivers, by the way, on 2 teams where it's like you don't quite know what you're getting anyways, I really like what you did. I think this team is a B+ right now. It could be an A- for me if the running backs obviously all work out, and I think they will. So I actually think you're in A- range.
Awesome. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for taking me.
Stanky Nut, you're welcome anytime. Make sure you follow.
Yeah, for sure. I already am. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Be good, man. Let's get to Garrett Irvin. We're doing the calls. I'm loving the calls today. We'll get back to this. Garrett Irvin, what's good?
Hey, how we doing?
I'm loving life. How are you?
Hey, we're making it. I got to wake up again, so we're doing something right. Well, I just got a pretty simple, just about like everyone else right now. I've got a 10-man right here that I was going to have you look at.
Let's check it out.
This is my first year doing a league like this where quarterbacks they score 50, 60, 70 points a game.
Yikes.
I didn't know that was a thing, so I went pretty late on a quarterback, so I feel like, but I still think I pulled a pretty good squad here. So I've got Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. I've got Isaiah Pacheco and Kyron Williams as my 2 RB1s.
Love that.
CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, and Garrett Wilson all at the receiver position.
Jesus. Okay, great.
And Mark Andrews at tight end, and then my bench looks like this with Kirk Cousins. Justin Herbert's just kind of like a token right now in case maybe I want to make a trade, And then I've got Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk, Chris Olave, and then David Njoku on my bench.
Okay, if in order to build the lineup you had to sacrifice the quarterback position, I don't know how your league scores, so it might be weird. You have a great team. Like, your running backs are amazing. Your wide receivers are amazing. I like what you did at tight end. Okay, so quarterback isn't big. Maybe you're in a league where I'm getting it wrong because the scoring's different, but in any other league, you would have a great team. Sure, quarterback's weak. Okay, I like everything else about your team. I'd give it a B+. The only reason it's not an A- is the quarterback position, but I really like the squad.
Okay, good deal. Now, I don't know I was trying to log in here, but I'm in a league with you on the rival fantasy sports.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get logged in, but I was going to have you look at that squad that we're in together in that league, but I can't figure out how to get logged in right now.
We'll come back on for another show, and we'll talk about it at that time.
Okay, that works. Yeah, that does it for me then, I guess.
All right, Garrett. We'll catch you later then, bud.
All right, see ya.
If you guys want to join the show as a guest, feel free. We're going to wrap up in a few minutes, but I will take a few more calls before we do. We do a show for everybody, 4:30 Monday through Friday, and at 10 a.m. on Sundays. So, the programming schedule for this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every single week we're live at 4:30 on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Kick, and on Twitter as well. We do a show at night only for subscribers on TikTok. That's where, if you have a lot of questions, I highly recommend you subscribe and you join us there. We do those at like 9:30, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on TikTok. That's where if you want a lot of questions answered. And of course, we do a pregame show. So we do shows on Sunday morning from 10 a.m. right up until kickoff. And for Thursday and Friday of this week, we will do pregame shows. We usually do them for Monday Night Football as well. So if you like Butt Fumble Sports, you'll get a lot of it. If you don't like Butt Fumble Sports, well, I'm sorry you don't like us. I wish you did. Let's get back to a few more calls before we're all done for the day. Let's go to TJ. Let's see what TJ wants to talk about.
How you doing?
What's good, TJ?
Just a question about, I have a draft tonight. I have the 8th pick, 12-man PPR. I like going mostly back-to-back RBs.
Yep, me too.
So, I mean, obviously Bijan or Brees if they fall.
Yep.
If not, Saquon, JT, or Gibbs.
Yep.
And then at 17, I was thinking Kyron,
Pacheco, right.
Shane, or I don't know if you like Josh Jacobs.
I think that would be a bit of a reach, but if you were later in the if you were drafting, I would like Jacobs if you were drafting in the like picks 1 through 3 in the first round, but because of where you're positioned, that would be a bit of a reach for me.
Okay.
But you're on the right track, like a JT Kyron, a JT Pacheco, or a Saquon Pacheco, like you're on. Like I totally agree with it.
Okay, and then also one more question. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
About tight ends. Do you like Brock Bowers or Njoku? Because I usually wait.
I like them both, and here's the point: you can wait on tight ends. The position is deep, so you're not going to get locked out. So you should be able to wait, make sure that your running back and your wide receiver positions are as good as they can possibly be, and then be like, okay, now it's time to get a tight end. But I like Bowers, I like Njoku, again, given that you'll be waiting. If you're someone who wants to go with one of the best tight ends in the league, Trey McBride, Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, Dalton Kincaid, those are going to be the top 4. I think that Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram are 5 and 6, and then I think like Njoku, Ferguson, Bowers, I think they fall into that third tier. So it sounds like you're going to, prioritize other positions and kind of wait till that third tier is available and go after that. I think it's a good strategy.
Okay. All right, that's it.
Love it, TJ. Enjoy the show. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Let's get another question going. Let's get Silly Willy. Silly Willy wants to join the show. Let's see what Silly Willy wants to talk about. Silly Willy, what's good?
Can you hear me?
I can. How can we help you?
Awesome. I have so this is similar to what happened to what y'all were talking about earlier. I got a 10-man league we drafted 2 days ago. I had the last pick overall. It's 250 league. So I stacked Saquon and JT. Okay.
Yep.
And then when it got back to me, I ended up going Rachaad White and Travis Kelce.
Oof. Okay.
And then when it got back to me again, Chris Olave and Kenneth Walker were available. So I got both.
Oh my God! Wow.
So the thing, I have Kenneth Walker on my bench right
Yeah,
now.
you have too many running backs. How is that possible? I didn't know that could be done.
That's how it played out. I was surprised that Saquon or JT were still available when it came to me in the first round. But everybody was choosing wide receivers.
Yeah, right.
So my thing is because I don't want to trade Kenneth Walker.
No, I wouldn't either. You have so much depth there. I wouldn't screw with that. I think you're set up where every week you could have 3 of the top 12 running backs in the league. That could win you the league right there. I can find solutions at at wide receiver rather. I can find a rookie who makes it. I can figure that position out way more easily than I can the running back position. I wouldn't trade one of those running backs right now unless you got a great offer.
For sure. And then as my wide receiver 2, I got Chris Godwin. And then on my bench, which I was excited to get him, is Jackson Smith and Jimbo, just in case Tyler Lockett goes out. So
well, I think JSN is going to be the RB2, the wide receiver 2 on this team. I think Lockett's going to regress. I think JSN's going to emerge as that clear RB. I keep saying that as that clear wide receiver 2. So I actually think that's a good pick. I like the team, but for me, it's all about the running backs. Like you're so loaded there, and by the way, and you got Kelsey. So. And there was actually just a bit of news that came out that Travis Kelce came out and said he does not want a lighter workload. Like, he will retire before he just, like, is on the team as just a 3 or 4 catch guy. So it sounds like Travis Kelce still very much believes he's in his prime and he's going to be producing a ton of yards and a ton of catches. Great for you. I love your team, even though, do I think it's an A-? No, I think it's probably a B+, but I'm okay with that B+ given the running backs.
No, yeah, for sure. And another thing about Kelsey, too, I mean, he was the first tight end taken off the board. So I chose him over Laporta.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that. I value Laporta a little bit more, but it's close.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad move. I'm not going to knock it. What'd you say?
I think Kelsey will get more red zone targets than Laporta.
It'll be close. I think you're probably right. Here's the difference. Everybody tries to cover Kelsey in the red zone. Right. And so even though I think you're probably right, the Chiefs receivers they get more attention between the 20s in the red zone. It's still going to be, if we stop Travis Kelce, we're in good position. But I don't think you're wrong. So I love the team. Don't hear me knock it. I love the team.
Okay, so I guess my thing would be it's going to be a battle for the flex position.
Right, every week. For you, it's going to be a battle to who do I start every week at that flex. And that's where you're going to have to come on Butt Fumble Sports on the channel and ask away, because each week is going to be its own maze of mystery.
No, yeah, for sure. I just didn't know, because my plan was to keep Rachaad White in there and keep Kenneth Walker on the bench. Do you agree with that?
For this week, I would say yes.
Okay.
For this week, yep. Love it, Silly Willie.
I think Kenneth Walker's going to have a monster year too.
I think he's going to have a really solid year. If he has a monster year, it means great things for the Seahawks. I'd actually love to see that. I think he's going to be. I think this is a make or break year for Kenneth Walker. He either emerges as a top running back, like a top 10 running back in the league, or I think the Seahawks once again invest in the running back position in the draft next year. So a little bit of pressure on him, which is good for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, that's it.
All right, man. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you soon.
Awesome. I appreciate you.
I'm so grateful for this audience. I so appreciate you guys joining us. Ray Gamer giving us some love. Thanks so much. Let's take one more caller. How about that? Let's go to Lucas. Lucas has been patient. Let's see what Lucas wants to talk about.
Okay, so I currently have A.J. Brown and Saquon because I was left with the 12th pick.
Yep.
And I really don't know what to do.
I would trade A.J. Brown, and because it's A.J. Brown, you should be able to get a really good return for that one.
That's my thing. Everybody passed on him. My main target was to try to get him on Raw, like adding something to A.J. Brown to get him on Raw.
But he was taken already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That said, A.J. Brown has value. Go see if you could get a 2-for-1 deal involving A.J. Brown. You give up Brown, you get 2 players in exchange. What position are you weak?
In this league, I like to think I'm pretty good other than a quarterback. I'm starting Geno Smith this week because he plays Denver.
Okay, yeah, let's upgrade that quarterback position. Yeah, you could get a really good wide receiver and a good quarterback in exchange for A.J. Brown, It would unload you from the stack that you don't love. If you kept Brown, you'd be fine. I don't think you're in a terrible spot if you kept both of them, but if you wanted to, you can make that move.
All right.
All good, Lucas?
I have another issue with another league.
Go for it.
I just like have a lot of Bills players.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Well, I don't want to be overloaded on the Bills this year. So, other than Cook, I really don't want to be overloaded on them.
Because right now, I have 3 Bills on my starting roster. I have Kincaid, Cook, and Josh Allen.
I would trade Josh Allen. What I tend to do is I actually tend to trade, if I have this kind of issue, I tend to trade the player who's got the more like brand name value. Josh, like AJ Brown. I think Josh Allen is going to regress. I really want Dalton Kincaid. Don't give him up. I really want James Cook. Don't give him up. I think you could trade Josh Allen, and you could find or have as a backup you could get another quarterback whose value might be less, but not by a big margin, and you could upgrade another position. So I'd hold on to Kincaid and Cook. I'd probably trade Allen.
What were you thinking? Because right now, I have Kamara, James Cook, and Jonathan Taylor, so I know I'm pretty good on like running back.
Yeah.
And then at wide receiver, I have Rashee Rice and Pittman.
It's a pretty good team. No, I understand why it's like I don't want to ride with the Bills that much, but I also don't want to break up a team that's pretty good. It's a tricky spot. I don't know if I've got a great answer for you, because you could upgrade at the wide receiver, but not by a huge amount. If you trade Allen and Pittman and you got back Kyler Murray, and it would have to be a freaking amazing wide receiver. I don't know. It's a pretty good team. I don't know if I'd do too much tinkering, even though I don't love the stacking of the Bills.
Yeah, that's what I've been struggling with.
I don't have a great answer for you. I wish I did, but in part because I don't think you're going to get much more. I don't think you're going to get marginally better by a great amount at other positions if you make the deal. So I don't know. Let me think about that one and come back to us tomorrow. I might have a better answer. I need to think about this.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate the call, Lucas. You have a great afternoon, bud.
All right, you too.
If you guys love the show today, make sure you hit the follow button. I know this was a heavy caller show. I really liked it. We won't do it every show, but sometimes it's fun to have people call in and just join and hear some voices besides my own. Make sure you subscribe. If you're on TikTok now, hit that subscriber button. That way you can join us for our subscriber-only show tonight. We do a subscriber-only show almost every night, so if you have a multitude of questions, you can get them all answered. You don't just get one or two answered. By the way, new outdoor fishing. Thank you so much for the gifts during the show. You were incredibly supportive. Really appreciate how kind you were throughout the show. Thank you so, so much. Big shout out to all of our loyal viewers. New outdoor fishing, John 316 Motivate, Super Silky, Sal, Blueface Baby, Heroic Phenom, Nightwalker 12051, Zachary, Bob, Scotty B Knows, Steve Vogel, Chuck 302, Michael, username 2257, Eric, Blue Jay, Mark, Dynasty K, Mr. Lopez, Siggy, Lucas, RWC, Louie, Chris Schmidt, NY Mello, Maxito, Bailey, Ben Lawyer, Spencer, Sean, Dre, Hives, FaceTime, Czar518, Ty Baca, KX Dose, DMAC, Kike is Guap, and many, many more. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, Adam Fox. Hopefully I see you tonight. Make sure you subscribe if you want to join us for our show tonight. We'll do that around 10 o'clock, okay? And if you don't, join us tomorrow. We do a show Monday through Friday at 4:30 Eastern Time. 4:30 Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. You can watch us there or our subscriber-only shows at night. Appreciate all of you guys being with us. Hope you guys join us tonight for our subscriber-only show. And as always, I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. If you guys want any of my picks, my NFL Week 1 picks are available. If you want my player prop bets, my game picks, I know we didn't talk any sports betting really, but I obviously do that as well. If you guys want any of those picks, DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. DM me. I give away my picks for free every single day. So hit us up. Get our picks. You can follow. You can fade. That's up to you. But if you want to see our picks every single day, DM me on Instagram. Obviously, we have our show tonight, so it won't be too long until I see you guys again. Catch us at 10 p.m. tonight for our subscriber-only show. Until then, have a great night, everybody. Goodbye.